What's up, guys? This is Seville with another WWE Elite Collection action figure review. Today, I'll be talking about Aleister Black and Killian Dain from the Target exclusive NXT TakeOver series. My last video was reviewing Drew McIntyre and Ruby Riott, so if you haven't already seen it, be sure to check out that video too. For now, if you can give me just a few more seconds, I'll have both of these figures out of their packages. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and comment below. And if you want to see more from me, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. This wave of figures was created before the TrueFX technologies were being implemented and marketed. Therefore, they're not quite up to par with that level of quality, and the only accessories they have is the entrance gear they're currently wearing. Once these rotations finish, we'll get a more detailed look at these figures. Before the entrance gear comes off, I do want to take a closer look at each piece. Aleister's vest is sculpted pretty nicely, with different little details such as the pockets and zippers and buttons, as well as the fur patch across the top of the shoulders being detailed pretty well, as are all the smaller pictures around the sides and the front, all leading to an incredibly accurate depiction. Killian Dain's vest is very similar in the sculpting detail, with all the added details for the buttons, zippers, and threads, and the graphic on the back is also very clear, once again making for an incredibly nice piece. With all that said, it's time to get all that gear off and take a look at the finer details of these figures, starting with Aleister Black. Aleister does use a very basic body sculpt that is common throughout the Elite collection, so for him, like Ruby Riott, it's really the tattoos that make his figure stand out. Mattel seems to be getting better and better with each tattooed character, and Aleister is definitely a great one to put their skills to the test, especially being that he has tattoos pretty much all over his body, with some highly intricate designs flowing through them. In fact, let's get a little closer to him and take another look all the way around. I can certainly imagine that getting all these images printed onto the figure was probably a fairly painstaking process, but the beauty of the final product would certainly make it worth it. Even the tattoos on that hand look really good. His other hand is no less detailed and still just as accurate. And there's even more tattoos on his legs, some of which even go below the knee pad, but I'm not going to take the knee pads off to show those any better. Still though, what you can see is incredible. The head sculpt is done pretty well, but as previously stated, not quite up to the TrueFX quality. Still though, a fairly accurate depiction of Aleister Black. Articulation wise, it does have all the same common points of any Elite collection figure, with points at the neck, shoulders, biceps, elbow, wrist, upper torso, and waist, plus joints at the hip, thigh, the double knee, the top of the boot, and the ankles. So, with all that said about Aleister Black, let's move on to Killian Dain. Killian has a much larger body frame, so the overall sculpt isn't super common, but I do still think it borrows a lot from other larger characters. Just at a quick glance and guesstimation, I think it's very similar to Bruno Sammartino, with arms and legs that are both still pretty common for the larger characters, leaving the main new pieces being obviously the head sculpt, the belt and sash piece, which is an additional part on top of the main body, kind of floating just above the waistline. It could be removed, but there's not like a notch or anything to take it off. And last but not least, the boots. I'm pretty sure these are totally new because I don't think anyone else has ever worn these before. It does have some nice paint showing the medals and buckles and all that. And the details showing the fur is sculpted in pretty nicely, similar to his vest. Moving back up to the head sculpt, it's not bad. But maybe in Killian's case, the more appropriate term would be hair sculpt, because for him, there's a lot more hair than there is face, and the general facial expression does have the look of insanity. Much like Aleister, he does have all the same common points of the Elite collection, such as the neck, shoulders, biceps, elbow, wrist, upper torso, and waist, plus the hips, thighs, double knees, top of the boot, and the ankles. So with all that said, it's time to run both of these figures through my guidelines for a complete and fair review. As stated, these figures do reuse a lot of previously made parts, but they are still pretty well detailed, making them accurate enough to know who they are, even though they're not taking advantage of the new TrueFX technology. They do have more than 20 points of articulation, they are in scale with the rest of the line, and they do include their entrance gear pieces for accessories. They do balance really well, and the roughly $20 price point is fair for the Elite collection. Personally, I did not have any quality control issues, but accessibility could be a problem in some areas. Distribution for Target exclusives are inconsistent at best and rarely sold online, leading these figures to a 7 out of 10 star rating meaning they are amazing and worth owning for all fans. Therefore, if you can find these figures on your hunt, they are definitely worth picking up. Thank you guys for watching, and if you like this video,
Get over here!
and subscribe to Civilian Collectibles.